According to Iran's foreign minister, the strait is open despite the U.S. blockade. We'll get into what that means. U.S. Central Command, though, says more than 10,000 U.S. service members, along with at least 12 warships and 100 aircraft, remain in place. The leaders of France and the UK also are meeting with a dozen other countries today, pushing forward with plans to reopen the strait. Notably, the U.S. will not be present for these talks. NewsNation international correspondent Robert Sherman joins us live in Tel Aviv with the latest on this big development in the Strait of Hormuz. So if Iran says it's open and the U.S. keeps the blockade in place, help us decipher what that means.
Yeah, well, what I would underscore here, Marni, is that everything is moving very quickly right now, from one step to the other, with Iran's foreign minister making that announcement just moments ago. I want to read it in full for you, saying that in line with the ceasefire in Lebanon, the passage for all commercial vessels through the Strait of Hormuz is declared completely open for the remaining period of ceasefire on the coordinated route as already announced by Ports and Maritime Organization of the Islamic Republic of Iran. Effectively, what Iran is saying that with this last piece coming into place, with the ceasefire in Lebanon taking effect here at midnight local time, has now opened the door for the Strait of Hormuz and passageway through there to be opened, and no ships, according to the Iranian side anyways, are going to come under threat if they choose to utilize the Strait of Hormuz. At this point, though, there's been no change to the U.S. naval blockade that is currently in effect there, stopping ships from going in and out of Iran. Central Command did just give us an update moments ago. They've now turned around 19 ships that had attempted to go through the blockade, but were sent back to where they came from and told to hold there. So that's the important element that you're watching here, Marni, is that this is all going step by step. But I just can't emphasize enough of how key both of these components of this is. One is the 10-day ceasefire taking hold, in which we've heard from the Israelis that the IDF will still be holding in southern Lebanon throughout the entirety of that. But the hope is that you will have direct negotiations between the highest levels of the Israeli and Lebanese government in Washington, D.C. in a few days. That is history potentially taking place right there. Then you have the opening of the Strait of Hormuz, which has kept much of the global market in gridlock for weeks on end. That is a huge development here when it comes to the movement that is taking place here in the region. The last piece of this would be the next step in negotiations between Iran and the United States. None have been announced yet, but the president said that he believes that extending the ceasefire, which on papers is supposed to expire in 5 days, may not be necessary. The next round may come together that quickly, but we're still waiting for that development in all of this. I would just emphasize, we live in a completely different world than we did 24 hours ago, Marni, as things are moving swiftly right now.
Yeah, extremely fluid. And Robert, I want to ask you, as I look behind you and we see you every day in Tel Aviv bringing us these reports, is that dust or is that smoke or fog behind you that is sort of shadowing the city?
Yeah, that is haze that is currently sitting over the city right now, which I suppose underscores and illustrates, the uncertainty that we all have and everyone on the ground here has. Because, I mean, one thing that I would note here about this region, Marni, is that things change almost instantaneously. If you can hear in the background, there's almost a small humming of music. Perhaps it's transiting through the microphones here. People are on the beaches right now. You see a lot of beach-going traffic. People are on the streets at restaurants, soaking up this moment of quiet that we have here in the region right now, because they don't know if this is all going to change. They don't know if Hezbollah could potentially break the ceasefire or if these negotiations between Iran and the United States fall apart. So that's why people are in a live-for-the-moment kind of situation, whether that's here in Israel or those images you saw coming out of Lebanon of people quickly trying to get back home as soon as that ceasefire came into effect, because everyone realizes we live in a different world today than we did yesterday. Same could be said about tomorrow as well.
Yeah,
Marni.
All right. Watching every single aspect of it for us from the Middle East. Robert, thank you.
Thank you for watching. Subscribe below and download our NewsNation app right now on your phone, and you will get fact-based, unbiased news for all Americans.